Right, now for more on today's court proceedings in Eswatini, we're joined by SABC News Reporter NhlanhlaJele. Good afternoon, Nhlanhla. It seems it was an interesting day in court, with the accused lawyer raising concern around South Africa's refusal to provide full disclosure of the docket in its extradition application, among others. Talk to us about this.
Good evening to you, Nomfundo, and to our viewers at home. Indeed, as you correctly put it, the defense did say that they wrote a letter to the National Director of Public Prosecutions, to have them furnished with the full docket as to what is contained in the docket that is going to be used against the accused once they are extradited back to South Africa, to face the charges. However, we heard that on Friday, the 10th of May, the NDPP wrote another additional affidavit saying, unfortunately, at this point, they cannot furnish them with the full docket because of certain things that are contained in the docket. Remember, some of the conditions that were put by the defense all this time that we were in court when this matter of their formal extradition application was being discussed or submissions were made, they said that they have certain conditions which they want them to be contained in this formal application. And when the formal application was sent to the DPP in Eswatini, some of these things were not contained. So them writing a letter to the NDPP was them saying, furnish us with the full docket as to what is contained in that docket. Who are the witnesses? What are they going to be saying? Summaries of their testimonies that are going to be used against our clients once they are extradited back to South Africa to face these charges. So we heard that in court, and then of course, they requested another postponement, Nomfundo, to the 14th of June, where they will be given time from the 20th of May to file their heads of arguments on this matter as to why they want the docket, which contains the names and the addresses and the cell phones and summaries of testimonies of the witnesses that are going to be testifying against these two brothers. And of course, on the 14th, when they come back, or when the court comes back in Eswatini, Nomfundo, we're going to be hearing what is contained in their affidavits, which they're going to be filing from the 20th of May.
Nhlanhla, can you just remind us of some of the Ndimande brothers' conditions, just for the benefit of those who might not have been religiously following the Eswatini leg of this case?
Remember, these two suspects were sought, a warrant of arrest was sent to Eswatini by South African police saying we are looking for these guys. Another warrant of arrest was also issued in Eswatini to have them arrested. They were arrested this year in late February, where they were renting a room around here in Mbabane. So that's when they were arrested. And of course, since then, we've been to court with postponement after postponement, and many of these postponements, Nomfundo, were because by then, South Africa's National Director of Public Prosecutions had not yet formally filed a full extradition application to have them extradited. We do know that once that was done, then this is what led to where we are today, hence another postponement to the 14th, to say we are not satisfied, the defense is not satisfied with what is contained in that docket or that formal extradition application. I spoke to him on the side after court and I asked him, are you delaying? Why is there a lot of back and forth? And he said to me, with an extradition application, it is permitted within the law for us to have these kinds of back and forth until they give us what we want, what's to be contained in that formal extradition application. Nomfundo?
And then the security concerns that they once cited, do they still stand by those, that if they were to be extradited to South Africa, they are a bit apprehensive, they don't want to be surrendered to SABC but possibly taken to correctional services? Of course, we don't know how that works, but nevertheless, do they still maintain that as far as they stand, there are security concerns?
They do not maintain at this point. Today what they literally highlighted was this issue of saying we want the full docket. We want to see who is on the witness list, who is going to be testifying. That is one of the most important things that they highlighted this afternoon or this morning in court, to say we want the full docket because it's not contained in the formal extradition application. And also another thing that is contained, Nomfundo, in that formal extradition application is the issue of firearms. The defense is saying what this application is saying about their clients is not true, because now this formal extradition application speaks about firearms which they say were found when these guys were arrested, however the defense is saying, but it's not true. So there's a bit of a back and forth to say certain things are not put the way they are supposed to be put, certain things are not done the way they are supposed to be done. You know, the defense attorney Ungwenya speaks to us on the side and he tells us that certain things are not done the way they are supposed to be done. Hence, he always opposes these things. If you remember correctly, the issue of the cell phones, to have the cell phones which were taken when they were arrested, sent to South Africa to the police, he opposed that application. Later on, the state abandoned that application, saying they are not continuing with that. The cell phones can remain provisionally detained in Eswatini for now. So he says that a lot of things are not done properly, especially by the state in terms of when it comes to this case. So that is why they always opposing. That is why they are not reaching where it's supposed to be reaching. But we also heard that the National Director of Public Prosecutions, through, of course, the State Prosecutor, Siyabonga, saying that they're treating this matter with urgency. Because if this matter drags on here in Eswatini, it means the case in Durban, Nomfundo, also drags on. Because if we remember correctly, these two guys are also expected to join the 5 others who are appearing in Durban for the same matter. So they're treating this matter with urgency, and they're going to try as much as they possibly can, Nomfundo, to push this matter so that these two guys can be sent back to South Africa.
And indeed, the 5 do appear tomorrow to just get a determination on their bail applications. Nhlanhla, thank you very much for that reportage.